Partnerships are huge in real estate. Hey guys, it's Brad for probatehouseguy.com. So today I want to talk about how important partnerships are in real estate, how they've helped me get to where I am today, and on a regular basis, they help me execute successful deals. But over the years, I've learned a few things about partnerships. They're not always sunshine and roses, okay? So that's why when you have a partnership, there are a few things that you need to make sure that you have in place. Number one, what I would encourage you is that if you are exercising partnerships in real estate, the best way to have the least amount of pain is to make sure that those partnerships are on a deal-to-deal basis and maybe not necessarily like a long-term partnership. Because more often than not, over time, the partners kind of will drift apart, or maybe their goals will change and that sort of thing, and the partnership will kind of dissolve over time. I've seen it happen in friends of mine that have had partnerships, and some of them still have a good relationship with their business partner, others don't. But I want to talk about partnerships here, in that there's a few key traits that you need to make sure that you're exercising in your partnerships. Number one, you need to make sure that you have a common goal. Now, from a deal-to-deal basis, your goal is probably just to make money on the deal, or, make sure you define that goal and make sure that both of you are, maybe it's not both of you, maybe it's 3 people, maybe it's 4 people. Make sure that everyone is on the same page in terms of what your goal is with this particular deal, okay? Also, make sure that you are very, very, very explicit. Write everything down as much as possible so that there is no question in the future as to what the understanding was. There was a gentleman I've done some partnerships with, and we partnered with on a deal a few years ago. We put everything in writing, and when it came down to one point in the deal, all of a sudden my partner's business associate or one of their employees said, well, hey, why did you get this much percentage on this particular part of the deal than we did? And I said, well, that was our agreement, right? So we went back and looked at the written agreement, and what I did was what was in writing. So he said, oh, yep, you're right. That we did put that in writing. I guess I just misunderstood that. My fault, right? So make sure that you have everything in writing. You need to make sure what your goal with the deal is, what your timeline of the deal is. You need to make some cost projections. What happens if you go over budget? What happens if you come under budget? What happens if one of the partners wants out early? How much would it cost to buy the other one out? What if, make sure you're coming up with these what if scenarios and writing them down. Obviously, you're not going to come up with everything, right? But the more you have written down, the more successful your partnership will be, in terms of if there is any heartburn with the partnership, because you have it in writing, there's less of a chance of a misunderstanding, a verbal misunderstanding. So make sure you put that in there, because partnerships in real estate can be very, very powerful. I mean, a lot of times I do a lot of partnerships in terms of money partnerships, where I will bring in a private investor or a partner into the deal and say, hey, I got this deal here. I don't have enough money to buy it. You've got money. You want to put your money to work. How about we go in this deal together, and I'll give you X% of the deal, or I'll pay you X%. I consider my private lenders, even though they might be like a lender borrower relationship, I still consider them a partner, because it's a continuous relationship, and it's not like going to a bank, right? It's more of a personal relationship. So I consider that a partnership. So I'll be like, okay, I'll pay you X amount % per month, or I'll make you these payments, or I'll give you X percentage of the deal. Or if we do this, you get this. If we do this, you get that. You make sure that you're laying all that out, and make sure it's mutually beneficial, right? You don't want a one-sided partnership where one partner gets all the gravy and the other one gets nothing, because the other guy's gonna be like, hey, what the heck, man? Like, I feel left out here. Why are you leaving me out, right? So make sure that the partnership is mutually beneficial to both parties. Otherwise, why would the other person do it? Where's the incentive for them to do it, right? You gotta think about both sides. What's the incentive here? So make sure that you have that, and also make sure that you have complementary strengths. Make sure that you are examining each other's strengths and weaknesses, so that you are complementing their weaknesses and they are complementing your weaknesses, so that together the two of you or the three of you or whatever are better than the three of you or two or three of you individually, right? The sum is greater than the parts, right? They call that synergy or whatever. So make sure that when you're analyzing a partner to do a deal with, that you guys have complementary partners traits. So for example, from a money partner perspective, well, that's pretty straightforward, right? Well, I got the deal. I'm going to run with the deal. I'm going to do all the things with the deal. You've got the money. You want to make return on your money. Let's come together. Let's do this deal. You provide the money. I provide the, I do this a lot on deals where A, I found the deal. B, I'll manage the project. C, I'll deal with all the other pieces and related to the deal. And D, I'll sell the deal. You just bring the money to the deal, so I'll give you X% of the deal, and I get X% of the deal. Obviously, in my case, I'm doing a lot more work, so I'm paying myself a little bit more, and I'm still making sure that my investor or my partner it's still worth their while. They're making a good return on their investment. For instance, I do a lot of seller financing deals where we will sell houses on seller financing to an end buyer. And in those particular deals, what I'll actually do is I make sure when I have a sort of a formula that I run, and I will project the numbers and basically present to my potential partner and say, hey, you're going to make, I usually shoot for a minimum of a 15% IRR. So at a minimum, they're going to make 15% on their money. I also like to go through, okay, here's worst case scenario. If X happens, this is worst case scenario. This is what might happen. And the more you have all these scenarios laid out, the more successful this partnership's going to go. So don't be afraid of partnerships. Don't let people say, hey, partnerships never work. You're going to fail. Usually those are business partnerships and those are long-term partnerships. And yeah, there is a high propensity of failure. But in the real estate business, partnerships are huge and they happen all the time. So make sure that you're utilizing partnerships and make sure you're picking the right partners. So I hope this helps you out a little bit today. Again, I'm Brad from probatehouseguy.com. I'm a real estate investor. I specialize in probate and inheritance deals specifically, done tons of them. So if you need any help with a probate or inheritance deal that you have, give me a shout. You reach out to me at probatehouseguy.com. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.